Hey, Katie, don't forget to turn the recording back on.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so it's just 10:01 on my time, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. Can everybody hear me okay, hopefully? I think both Phil and Pat, you've been able to hear me all right. So my name is Katie Gainstad. I'm serving as the hearings officer for this public comment hearing today. Also on the call for FWP staff is Phil Kilbreth, who's the operations sergeant in the law enforcement division for the department, and Pat Lucetti, who is our IT support for this meeting. So thank you guys for both being here. This is the public comment hearing on the proposed administrative rule that would ban motorized watercraft on the Shields River from the mouth to the confluence with the Yellowstone and all of its tributaries. Public comment ends this Friday, October 9th at 11:59 p.m. So there's still plenty of time to submit written comments should something go wrong with this technologically today. This is the first time I've done an administrative rule hearing over this format. Normally we do it in person. So hoping everything goes smoothly and that there's no issues, but just in case, there is plenty of time to still submit written comment. Let's see here. It's always good to remind everyone that all comments bear the same weight, whether they're in writing or spoken today here at the hearing. Normally, when we were doing these hearings in person, I have a sign-in sheet for everyone to sign up on, and I also have an interested persons form out. Since we're doing it this way, I'm unable to have those things out. So the sign-in sheet, I usually use that information on there, your email address or your mailing address, to send a courtesy copy of the final decision notice to you. And then the interested persons form is there for you to sign up to be put onto an interested person's mailing list to receive these type of notices in the future automatically. So since I'm unable to have people sign up on those, I just want to extend out that if anybody would like to do either of those things, to please just contact me outside of the hearing. My phone number and my email address are on this proposal notice. The second section of the proposal has both my email and phone number. So please reach out to me if you'd like to be put onto an interested persons list or receive a courtesy copy of this final decision notice. Once all the comments are collected after this period ends on October 9th, they'll be compiled and given to the Fish and Wildlife Commission for their consideration at one of their future Fish and Wildlife Commission meetings. That, I believe, is tentatively scheduled for their December meeting, where they'll make their final decision on this. At every administrative rule hearing, it's a requirement to read out loud the notice of function of Administrative Rule Review Committee. So the Administrative Rule Review Committee is a function of interim committees and the Environmental Quality Council, which is referred to as the EQC. The EQC has administrative rule review, program evaluation, and monitoring functions for the Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. The EQC has the authority to make recommendations to an agency regarding the adoption, amendment, or repeal of a rule, to request that the agency prepare a statement of the economic impact of a proposal, and to poll the members of the legislature to determine if a proposed rule is consistent with the intent of the legislature. The EQC welcomes comments and invites members of the public to appear before them. If anybody wants their contact information, you can contact me and I can get that to you, or you can find it online at leg.mt.gov. Before I go into the instructions of how to give public comment, I just want to check in with Phil and see if there's anything I missed or anything you wanted to add.
Thank you, Katie. As she mentioned, I'm Phil Kilbreth. I'm the operations sergeant. I'm also the state voting law administrator. I just wanted to maybe give just a slight bit of background. The public comment we're taking is on a petition that a member or members of the public submitted to the commission. Any individual or entity is allowed to submit a petition for the Fish and Wildlife Commission to consider. This is not a department initiated rulemaking. This is again something that has been submitted by members of the public. We're collecting public comment on behalf of the commission, and it is ultimately the commission that will decide how to move forward on this. We serve as their staff in a sense for doing this. So the commission did meet initially to discuss this meeting and decided that they wanted to initiate public comment to hear what the public has to say about this particular proposal. So we are having this hearing and are in this public comment period. Currently, the rules on the Shields River have a 10 horsepower limit, and if this were to pass, it would be no motorized boating. I think that's about all I've got. Katie?
I think so. So we'll move right in then to taking public comment. I'd just like to remind everyone we are recording this and also streaming out live on YouTube. In order to give public comment, what you need to do is to dial *9. That raises your hand. Only dial it once, because if you dial it more than once, it'll actually lower your hand. After you dial *9, I'll get a notification that your hand is raised, and I'll go through people one at a time and unmute you so you can give your comment. When I unmute you, you will get a notification that you've been unmuted. And also just double check your phone to make sure if you're on your cell phone that you're unmuted on your end as well. Please state your name, where you're from, and if you represent an organization. And I please ask that you keep all comments on topic to this rulemaking, and to also please be respectful. So anybody who would like to give comment, please dial *9, and we'll go ahead and open it up. I've got a caller in, the phone number ending in 710. You're unmuted on my end, but it looks like you might still be muted on your end. Phone number ending in 710. I don't know if you can figure out how to unmute yourself, but you are able to talk on my end, so. Okay. Well, let's see, we'll move on to someone else then, and I'll circle back around with the person ending in 710 to see if we can get you unmuted again here in a minute. We'll move on to another caller here. So caller in 947.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Thanks. My name is Lane Ford. I'm a resident of Shields Valley and a user of public lands and waterways, both motorized and non-motorized. I'd like to start by saying that I strongly oppose any new restriction of motorized use on the Shields River. I would like to talk a bit about the vessels in the picture attached to the petition, since it has no real information about them. The vessels are custom built out of an 1/8" sheet of aluminum. They have a Berkeley 6J series inboard jet drive that was pulled from a 1968 Sea-Doo personal watercraft. They are powered by a Yamaha MZ300 industrial multi-purpose engine. The engine is an air-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke that has a manufacturer's rated max power output of 9.5 horsepower. These boats weigh less than 250 pounds, ready to ride, and travel at an average speed of 6 to 8 miles per hour with the top speed around 10 miles per hour when conditions are perfect. The bottom line is there's nothing new or advanced about the technology used in these boats. There's also nothing fast about a boat powered by 10 horsepower either. Those claims are downright false, and the petition didn't include any supporting evidence to back up those claims. I'd like to note that there has never been a collision involving a motorized boat, nor has any motorized user ever been cited for violating safety rules while recreating on the Shields. With that said, it's obvious that the current restriction of 10 horsepower already maintains a high level of public safety. I believe that if there's a problem with motorized users traveling at high speeds on the Shields, say 30, 40, even 50 miles per hour, that issue needs dealt with by law enforcement, not by banning an already limited recreation opportunity altogether. I'd also like to note that motorized users posing a threat to livestock and irrigation equipment is invalid and not supported by any real evidence. Pump heads and head gates are located on the riverbank, not in the middle of the river. It's also a fact that ranchers and livestock producers fence their animals away from the Shields to prevent them from escaping when river flows drop. This petition is not about public safety. If it was, it would include some real evidence about 10 horsepower vessels. There's not a single fact in this petition that supports the concern of public safety. This is about public access, and I'll tell you what is new. Folks like most of the petitioners moving here from some other state or country, buying up pristine properties adjacent to public lands and waterways, then those folks use their status as a landowner to influence management and attempt to reduce public presence next to their high-dollar homes and vacation rentals. It's no secret that public access is extremely limited on the Shields already. For some of the petitioners, banning motorized use would eliminate almost all public use near their property. I would like to ask every commissioner and FWP official listening to me right now, how would you like it if you spent a great deal of time, money, and effort to comply with the rules set forth by this agency, and even worked with your local warden to ensure that you were recreating legally, then had that method of recreation taken away from you on a basis of false and misleading information put forth by a small group of private interests? I strongly encourage the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks Commission to reject this rulemaking and send a message to every landowner in this state that Montana's public lands and waterways are open to the public and do support multiple use. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, further public comment? Phone number ending in 766, you're unmuted. Phone number ending in 766, you're unmuted on my end. I think you just need to unmute on your end. Okay, looks like they signed off, so we'll move on to the next person. I'm going to circle back around to phone number ending in 710. You're unmuted on my end. If there's anyone else listening in that would like to give comment, please dial *9 to raise your hand.
Hello.
Hey, we can hear you.
Hi, my name is Mitch Miller. I'm a resident of the Shields Valley. I have a business, a guest ranch up in Clyde Park on the banks of the Shields River. It seems to me that there is pretty good public access on the Shields River. You know, we have plenty of fishermen that use the river along our property, and I myself like to jump in on various bridges and do some fishing. It doesn't seem like it's really an access issue, especially down lower where these watercraft can actually get into the water. I am concerned a bit about, what that will do to the quality of those other people recreating on the river, to have a watercraft coming by. It's a really small river. It's not that big. There's lots of snags. There's lots of places where it's not even advisable to float. You have to go around obstacles, down trees, rocks, snags, and such. I just think it would be a bit of a reducing the quality of one's experience in the wild there on the river. And I don't know about safety measures. I've never run across one of these crafts, but I do know that they're much more prevalent farther down the river than from where we are. And it seems like there's plenty of other bigger waters like the Yellowstone where they could go. I don't see why they need to be to access every corner. And like, once again, just trying to make the point that I don't think it's an access issue. And that is the point I'm trying to get across.
Thank you. Hello, phone number ending in 667. You're unmuted and should be able to give your comment.
All right. Well, good morning. My name is Shannon Holmes. I live at 25 Shields River Road East. And I want to voice my opinion on banning all motorized vehicles or watercraft on the Shields. I do live at a property that's adjacent to a county road, and we do get a lot of fishermen along our property. I have 3 dogs, 2 horses, a cow, 2 daughters. We take our dogs to the river quite often, almost every day, throw sticks. We swim, we fish. I've experienced these small watercraft going through the Shields along our property on 3 different occasions, and I'm not sure where the 10-mile-an-hour comment came from, but I can assure you that they are going way faster than 10 miles an hour when they're going through our property. The Shields has a lot of curves in it, turns and bends in the river, and a lot of those places are is where the deeper holes are, where we like to recreate. And as a jet boat owner, there's no way that you can stop these boats on a dime. So when they're going in the excess of 10 to 15 to 20 miles an hour, I just see the potential for an accident occurring. The Shields this time of year has very low flows. I know these boats are made very rugged, but just the destruction of some of the gravel bars and shallower areas certainly could have an impact on the aquatic life in the stream. And again, as a jet boat owner, I feel like there's larger waterways in Montana that provide plenty of recreation for that type of user. The Shields does not fit that bill, in my opinion. And I thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Yes, thank you. Phone number ending in 066. You should be unmuted on my end. phone number ending 066. It looks like you're still muted on your end. I'm also going to try to unmute phone number ending in 710 again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. My name's Jeff Welch. I am one of the original petitioners that brought this to your attention. I live near the confluence, maybe about a mile or two upriver from the confluence of the Shields and the Yellowstone. So we've seen this traffic over the last few years. And I represent about 50 different landowners that signed on to the letter of the original petition in support of this ban, and we appreciate the department drafting the rule. We are in full support of the rule as written, and as stated in our original letter and as echoed by some of the other commenters here, we see this as a safety issue. You know, we all have used the river in the summer frequently. Even when it's low, it's been surprising to see jet boat traffic on such a small river. The CFS today is 70. I mean, that's more like a creek. And when you have children in the river, you have dogs, livestock, irrigation equipment. Unlike what the other commenter said, there is we have an intake right in the middle of the river. It's not on the side. The intake is in the water in the hole. And when the water's low, that intake is mere inches below the surface. So there's a number of issues, I think, why this kind of use is inappropriate. And we completely, all 50 of us who signed on to the letter originally, support this ban.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
My name is Sally Epps. I live at 25 Shields River Road East. And my husband has already commented, but I also want to comment and say that I also support the ban of motorized boats on the Shields River. It is much too small of a river to accommodate that safely. As he mentioned, Shannon Holmes mentioned, we are frequently in the river. Our dogs are in the river, and there is lots of public access. So I am a full supporter of public access when it's appropriate. We have people parking at an access bridge near our property almost daily. So there's lots of people getting on the river, but they are wading and fishing. And I feel like these motorized vehicles would be dangerous to them as well, disturb the fishing, disturb the experience, and disturb the river at certain flows. So I'm also one of the original petitioners with Jeff Welch, and I just would like to state my support for the ban. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for your comment. Hello, we can.
Hello, this is Dan. Go ahead.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello, this is Dan Vermillion. I live at 44 Adair Creek Road, and I'm commenting today in support of this petition. I also own a jet boat, but spend a lot of time on the Shields with my family and my kids, and I think it's not a news flash to anyone that this this river this year in particular has been very, very crowded, and it seems like the use goes up every single year. And, you know, I would take issue with the idea that this is an access issue. This is a use issue. And it is completely in the purview of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks to create regulations that are going to protect public safety, and this is one of those instances. There's far too much use, far too little water to keep this to operate jet boats on this small river safely. Again, Dan Vermillion, 44 Adair Creek Road, Livingston.
Thank you. Phone number ending in 842 should be unmuted on my end, but it looks like you might still be muted on your end. If there's anyone else who has not commented yet that would like to do so, please dial *9. Phone number ending in 766. I think you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good morning. My name is David Mackinder, and I live at 22 Horse Thief Trail, which is about 3 miles from the confluence with the Yellowstone River. My wife and I are residents of the Shields Valley, and our home is on the banks of the Shields River. We relocated here for the quiet and serenity. I would hope that it continues in the future. I fear that once the door is opened for motorized access, it will be difficult to close. I fear our enjoyment will be reduced and the quality of the waterway and fishery will be reduced. We support this ban. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to try to unmute phone number ending in 842 again. I think you're still muted on your end. And I think everyone else who's called in has been able to comment. If not, please dial *9. Hello, we can hear you.
Hello,
Hello.
this is Patricia Mackinder speaking. And I just have a few comments regarding the Shields River. First of all, I support banning motorized vehicles on the river. And the other thing, I sent a comment in too, that it was brought up earlier that maybe during high water that the motorized vehicles could be used. Well, in fact, I think that's too dangerous because when the river dropped a couple of years ago, we had huge chunks of cement and trees, plus other debris that was deposited on the banks. And as a matter of fact, it's still there if you want to come and see it. We're at 22 Horse Thief Trail. And then my second comment, and on one gentleman that said, you know, the ranchers had fenced off so that cattle and everything could not get in the river. Well, in fact, that's wrong. That has, in some cases, it might have happened, but not at all. So once again, Patricia McInder, and I fully support the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. I think everyone who has called in has had a chance to comment, with maybe the exception of one person that we couldn't get unmuted. If I'm wrong and you still have not commented and would like to, please dial *9. You know, this isn't a perfect system, but it's our first go at this administrative rulemaking hearing like this. And I think we've been able to get almost everyone's comments. If you were unable to speak and get your comment in today, please submit it in writing. You can do that on our website, or you can send it to Phil Kilbreth directly to his email, or hard copy in the mail. And all comments bear the same weight. So I apologize if you didn't get your phone unmuted and weren't able to comment here today, but there is still time for you to submit your written comment. So if anybody has anything else to add, Phil, I think we can close the hearing.
I don't have anything else to add, just that you can still send me comments until the end of the week.
Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone that was here to give comment today. Thank you to the FWP staff that's on the call. And we'll go ahead and stop the recording and close the hearing. Thank you.